Welcome, everyone, to the Looking Glass transmission. This is your audio gateway, you could say, into the world of the Cult of Brighter Days.
Indeed, welcome, and thanks for joining us. This is our first proper deep dive.
Yeah, our first chance to really lay out what we're doing here.
What this whole transmission is actually about.
Think of us as, well, maybe your guides, navigating the sometimes pretty surprising landscape of the cult.
And often quite thought-provoking, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. So our main goal here with the Looking Glass transmission, we've been thinking about an analogy.
Right, the Radio Free Europe idea.
Exactly. So let's maybe unpack that concept a little because, it might conjure up images of, secret broadcasts.
Hidden messages, maybe. Yeah, it's not quite like that.
No, not exactly. But the spirit of independent information, that's definitely part of it.
Absolutely, but tailored to this context, of course.
Right. So what it means, really, is that we're here to explore the core ideas, the philosophy, the essence, of the Cult of Brighter Days.
But, and this is important, we're not just going to be, reading out the document.
Oh, definitely not. Not just reciting the comprehensive consolidation of core philosophical framework or the community engagement guidelines, even though they're incredibly detailed.
And they are very detailed, yes. They serve as our foundation, absolutely. The material we engage with.
Yeah, it's like, imagine you gave us the blueprints for a building.
Okay.
We're not just reading the specs back to you, we're walking through the actual building with you.
Pointing things out.
Pointing out interesting design choices, maybe asking why a certain wall is there.
Or questioning a structural element, perhaps.
Exactly. Offering our own, informed perspectives on it all.
Precisely. So this initial deep dive, it's not a summary.
No summary today.
It's really about defining our role.
No.
As dedicated analysts, yes, but critically independent ones.
Independent is key. We'll be using the established philosophy.
Five tenets, the whole failure is mandatory concept.
Right, and the interplay of the character trinity. Alice, George, Bixel, all of that.
We'll use that framework to understand events, ideas, things happening both inside and outside the cult's immediate sphere.
Which brings us nicely to that underlying philosophy, doesn't it? The one that shapes how we analyze things.
It really does. It often boils down to that dynamic, that tension.
Between structure and chaos.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Structure, embodied by Alice, the administrator keeping everything running, seemingly.
Perpetually organized, right? Keeping the metaphysical gears turning.
And then there's chaos. George, the golden apple, always sparking something new.
Or introducing, let's say, unexpected variables into Alice's careful plans.
And we can't forget Pixel in that dynamic.
Oh, absolutely not. Pixel representing that. Inherent uncertainty.
Yes, that fundamental lack of regard for limitations. It gives us a unique lens, actually.
A lens to see why structure is needed, but also why chaos is just inevitable.
Precisely. That whole trinity, it shapes how we approach pretty much everything we look at.
Okay, so here's where our approach gets maybe particularly relevant for listeners. We aren't just going to nod along.
Not passive acceptance, no.
The cult itself, if you look at the documentation, like the amendment process protocol, it actually builds in the idea of growth, of adaptation.
That's a great point. That whole process, with its intentionally high bar for changing core principles.
It really shows something, doesn't it? It shows the need for stability, yes, but also for evolution, for the possibility of change.
And that inherent flexibility, that kind of built-in mechanism for self-assessment, that's something we want to mirror here.
On the Looking Glass transmission.
Exactly. We'll engage deeply with the philosophy, sure, but we won't shy away from asking tough questions.
Exploring potential wrinkles.
Inconsistencies.
Or even just offering our own interpretations for people to consider. We see that as part of the process.
So yeah, as we move forward in future deep dives, looking at specific events, specific materials, keep this session in mind.
Remember our framework.
We're your guides, familiar with the philosophical terrain.
And our commitment, first and foremost, is to analyze things through that established lens.
Absolutely.
The 5 tenets. Failure is mandatory. Those are our constants.
Our reference points, definitely.
It's a big but. Our commitment is just as strong to maintaining that critical independence.
We won't just rubber stamp everything.
No. Examining assumptions is vital. Even assumptions within the cult's own framework.
It's part of understanding, isn't it?
Yeah.
And part of progress. Even the engagement guidelines talk about thoughtful interaction over just blind agreement.
Which really raises a fascinating question, I think. What are the implications of a system of philosophy that gives you clear principles, but also actively encourages you to question them, to examine them critically, even challenge them?
It is a balancing act, isn't it?
A real philosophical tightrope walk, believing in a system while also embracing independent thought, critical analysis.
That's precisely the space we want to explore right here.
Yeah, that's what the Looking Glass transmission is setting out to do.
So in our next deep dives, we'll start putting this into practice. We'll take specific events, specific materials,
And dissect them using this very approach we've talked about today.
We really hope you'll join us as we navigate all of this. It's certainly thought-provoking territory.
It is. And maybe leave you with this thought for now. How do you balance genuine belief with that essential need for independent critical thinking?
It's a question that goes way beyond just the cult, really.
Absolutely. We look forward to exploring it all with you in our next deep dive.